Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Welcome back to AFL Tips. So it's not so good this round. 2 rounds ago I got 8 out of 9, and last round I got 9 out of 9, which is pretty damn good. 17 out of 18 over the last 2 rounds. But in this round, only 6. Not too great, but in fairness, I feel like all 3 of the wrong ones, in context, they weren't necessarily like... I mean, one was quite a bad tip at the time, but it almost paid off. Not this one, obviously, but I predicted Collingwood because I saw how we played against Adelaide, and I just didn't have enough faith in us against teams at the top. And I was just like, Collingwood beat us by 50 points earlier in the season. Obviously, we have a record against them where we tend to beat them at least once every season, or most seasons. It does happen, but I was still pessimistic based on how we played against Adelaide. I just didn't know if we could hack it. And even against like teams below us, we've not really like smashed anyone. We smashed a few teams, but not too many teams. I feel like, we didn't feel like a finals worthy team at the time. So I just thought I'm going to tip Collingwood, which I did, and I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. Obviously, I want my team to do well, and thankfully we did. We dominated every quarter. We smashed them. It was absolutely brilliant to watch. It was a very pleasurable experience. The second I got wrong was an upset. I picked the Lions to beat the Sydney Swans at home at the Gabba. Sydney won, big upset, earlier by 2 points. So, I would have been taking a massive risk tipping Sydney, which would have paid off. But I just didn't see it happening, and I think most people as well did not see this happening. So I think this one, we can let go of this one. Brisbane are very strange, aren't they? Because when they turn it on, they're incredible. Like, they smashed Collingwood at the MCG, and they smashed Geelong at GMHBA. That was their first win at GMHBA in like 2 decades, and they obliterated Geelong there. They were all over them. Geelong had no chance in that game, and that's something none of us saw coming before that game started. But this same team drove North Melbourne and lost a few other games, including this game, where it's just like, surely they should have won that game based on the quality of the teams and how they're playing. But there we are. Obviously, Sydney, they did reach the grand final last year, so it's not like they're that bad. And they had injuries as well, of course. But still, this result is very surprising. You just don't know what you're getting with Brisbane. And to be fair, it worked last year. Last year, they were not great the entire season. They were great for periods. They had a very inconsistent start to the season. Then they had like that 10, 11 game win streak that happened like in mid to late season. Then lost a couple of games towards the end of the season. And even in finals, like the first couple finals games, they looked a bit dodgy. In the second game, they were against the Giants. They were like 50 points down or something. And then they sparked that huge comeback, which is incredible. And from that moment of that comeback, something switched, something changed, and they changed into this. They turned into this incredible team that could tear anyone apart, and they were brilliant the rest of the finals. But before that Giants comeback, they were not that consistent. Like they did not seem like, they'll definitely win the flag. It's just, it never seemed like that until that point. So they're a very weird team, but they can when they're on it, when it's their day, they're unstoppable. So you just don't know what you're getting. So I don't know what to think of the Lions at the moment. But what I'm also annoyed about is I would have liked to see, I prefer to see all 4 in the top 2, of course. I just don't think we'll be in the top 2. I would have liked to have seen a Brisbane-Adelaide top 2 by the end of this round. It didn't happen because guess what? Brisbane decided to be the bad side of Brisbane and not the good side. And now they're 5th. But I just feel like a top 2 of Adelaide and Brisbane would be very interesting for week 1 of finals. But here we are. Obviously, they're only 2 points off anyway, so it could still turn around. They have got... Who they got next? I think they got Freo next. But it should be very interesting that in Perth, I think. I spent a lot of time just on that team, but it has to be said. And my third wrong tip, it looked like a silly tip, and it kind of was, but... Port Adelaide only lost by a goal. They only lost by 1 goal. They almost did it. They were beating Freo for a while. I think at one point there was 15 goals and they scored 11 of them. They were all over Freo at one point in the game. in the end, they didn't win, which is unfortunate, because if they won, that would have done Hawthorn a lot of favours, and a lot of favours is what we would have liked, but it's not the case. But yeah, the three I got wrong. Look, two of them were close games. One was an upset, and the other one was just me like watching Hawthorn against Adelaide and thinking we're not going to beat Collingwood. So, cause even though 6 is pretty bad compared to the last 2 rounds, you know, I have my excuses. Here we go. Round 23, Essendon St Kilda. This could be bloody anything. You see, I definitely would have tipped the Saints before round 22. But you see, the way the Dons played against Geelong, they played better than they probably did the entire season, even though they lost. They were actually very good against Geelong. And I thought to myself, they're looking competent now. And St Kilda, they get some big wins. They get some really big wins. But they also struggle in a lot of games, right? They are the only team to lose to West Coast this season, for example. They only just beat Richmond. Just this round. So you know what? Risks are there to be taken. I'm going to tip Essendon. Let's see how this goes down, guys. It's Essendon by 8. Oh boy. It's possible, right? They lost to West Coast. I'm just saying. They lost to West Coast. Fremantle, Brisbane. Okay. So here's the thing. Which Brisbane turns up? Is it the Brisbane that drew with North Melbourne? Or is it the Brisbane that smashed Geelong at GMHBA? Which Brisbane are we getting? I don't know. I don't know. Is it inconsistent Brisbane? Or is it 11-game win streak Brisbane? Is it is it struggle against Sydney Brisbane, or is it smash Sydney Grand Final Brisbane? Which Brisbane is it? I don't know. I'm gonna tip Brisbane. Because it's basically a gamble. It's a 50-50 gamble. Are we getting the great Brisbane who are unbeatable, or the bad Brisbane who are very beatable? We don't know. I don't have telekinesis. I don't have these Charles Xavier powers to grant me the knowledge of this. But it just depends on which Brisbane turns up. Yeah, Brisbane to win, but Freo could easily win that as well. It just depends which Brisbane turns up. I know that's kind of insulting Freo a little bit, but Brisbane are a much better team than Freo. So I think it genuinely, if Brisbane turn up, they'll win. That's what I think about that game. Gold Coast Giants, Gold Coast. They're at home. The Giants, not the best recently, not the best, especially after that Bulldogs game. I think the Suns can take them. The Suns also are on a bit of a run of confidence right now, so I think they'll have them at People First Stadium. I still call it Metricon sometimes. Carlton, Port Adelaide. Carlton. I know Port did well against Freo, but I don't think they'll be so good in this game. Hawthorn v Melbourne, there we go. Adelaide v Collingwood. I'm going to tip Adelaide, but I would not count Collingwood out. This is the type of game Collingwood win. They like the big games. They like the big games that are close, and this could be a close game. But I'm very excited to see what happens in this game. But I wouldn't rule out Collingwood just yet. I'm surprised it's this slow, to be honest. I know they've lost 4 of the last 5. I know that, but still. This is the type of game that Collingwood win, despite the last few weeks. But I'm going to tip Adelaide anyway. North Melbourne v Richmond. North. I think Richmond can win. I just trust North a bit more, I feel. Even though North have less points than Richmond. But I genuinely think North are favourites, but also Richmond can win. But I'll give North the advantage. Sydney, Geelong. I know Sydney just beat Brisbane, and Geelong are not playing the best right now. But I'll go for Geelong. Dogs to beat Eagles. That's the easiest tip for a while, to be honest. Dogs have hit over 95 points, I think 16 times this season. Is that ridiculous. Like, if you don't believe me, just look it up. I brought this up last week anyway, but they hit it again this round. So if they hit it again here, I think that's 17 times over 95 points. That's insane. It's actually insane to score that many points that many times. Like, they deserve their percentage. You can't see it there, but they got a dominant percentage of everyone else above them. But yeah, Dogs, Geelong, North Adelaide, Hawthorn, Carlton, Gold Coast, Brisbane, and Essendon. Sydney. What have I done? Look, you know I like taking risks. You know I like taking risks. You never know. You never know. You never really know. Okay, so I've now tipped 3 teams that are underdogs. I wouldn't say Brisbane are huge underdogs. I'd say this game is more like even. I think there's 50-50. But the other two, definitely, yeah, you know what? It's locked in. I'm locking it in. I could change it right now, but I'm locking it in. These are my tips. Let me know your tips down below. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and goodbye.
Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take